Hey guys, and welcome to our first virtual art lesson together. I'm super excited to work with you guys and to show you some cool things that you can do with art. And what I wanted to do for our first lesson is I really wanted to kind of get your brains working again artistically, and I wanted to just go through some of the things in your art box, and I just wanted to create a little bit. So what you're gonna need for today is you're gonna need your art box and the things that are in your art box. And then you're going to need a couple pieces of cardboard and some scissors. So I will give you a second to go grab those things if you don't have them. So pause me if you need to. And sorry, it's my dog. And go grab the supplies that we need and then meet me back here. All right, so hopefully you've gathered your tools that you are going to need today for creating. And I first wanted to talk to you a little bit about coming up with ideas. So I want you to remember last year in art class that we talk a lot about what artists create about and where do they get their ideas. And a lot of times we would kind of go through some really quick ideas of what you're going to make or what you think artists create about, or where do they get their ideas. And I've always loved hearing the things that you guys would say to me because you would come up with the greatest ideas. So just take a second and let's just think about where artists get their ideas. And a lot of you would say things like, around you. So like looking around you, or we would get our ideas from memories, or sometimes we create about dreams that we've had, or sometimes we create about our favorite things, so like our favorite food, or our favorite sport, or our favorite season. So when you're thinking about what to create, artists need to kind of take a second to think about things that are important to them, because most of the time artists are creating about things that are important to them, because that's what makes art fun. If I told you that you had to create about what I love or my favorite things or things that are important to me, it wouldn't be as special for you to create about those things, because they wouldn't be things that you cared about as much. So when you're thinking about what to create, or when you're not sure what to create, think about some of the things that are around you or some of your favorite things, and that's what always helps me get my ideas for what I'm going to create. So today what I want to do is we're going to try out two things in our art box. We're going to build something out of cardboard, and we're going to build something out of modeling clay. I just want to get you used to using the materials again and remember how to use a couple of these things. So I'm going to build something out of cardboard, and I'm going to build something out of modeling clay, and I'm going to show you what I built. So last year, guys, we learned about how to make things flat, and I know that a lot of you built a lot with cardboard, but I just wanted to remind you on how we can make things kind of stand up. So when you're doing something that's flat with shapes, if you put glue tape on both sides, it makes it nice and strong. But let's talk about what if I want to make something stand up. So let's say I want to make something like 3D. Like maybe I want to make a little box, or maybe I want to make like a rectangle type thing. I'm going to cut a few pieces here, and I'm going to hold these things up while I use my glue tape. So a reminder that you don't need to use the full piece of glue tape. So for something smaller, I'm probably going to want to cut these, and that will help it so that I don't go through my glue tape super fast and run out. And then I just wanted to remind you that the shiny side is the side that has the glue on there that needs to be wet. So one side is shiny and one side is not shiny, and the shiny side is the one that we want to be touching to the sponge to get that wet. Okay, just like if you were to lick an envelope. So I'm going to actually lay these down flat right here just like this, and I'm going to stick my glue tape on there. And then instead of flipping it over and doing the other side to make it strong like that so it doesn't bend, I'm going to let it bend, and I'm going to stand this up on its side like this. And so then what I can do is I can start adding some other sides here, so I can make kind of like a little cube, okay? So I'm going to use the sticky side here to add my next one. And if it's easier to lay it down flat, that is also really helpful, because sometimes if you don't have someone else to help you hold things, it is hard to get things to stand up on their own. So I'm going to cut a couple more pieces here of glue tape, And then I'm going to add my last piece right here. So check it out. I'm gonna stick this on here. Really push it down, and then I'm going to actually kind of bend these up. So now all I have to do is put glue tape on just this one side here, and then I have the beginning of what could be lots of different things, and we can talk about that in a second. Okay, so I'm gonna glue tape this right here, and I'm gonna push down really, really hard. And then I might want to, just to make it stronger, I could go around and I could add some pieces around the outside here, just like this. Okay, so that it's getting a little bit stronger. Now that I have it folded, I don't want it to fall apart. So maybe I could add just some little pieces that kind of go around the outside here and make it stronger. So now what I could do with this cube is I could do lots of things with this, and I'm going to show you a couple options here of things that you could do. So now that I have a good strong cube shape, I could do tons of things with this. I could cut out a top shape. So if I measure, I like to tell my students to kind of measure and hold it up. So if I added a piece this size, I could add a top to my cube, or I could add a bottom. Or if I took a piece of glue tape and I stuck it on to just one part of it. So let's say I add it right here like this, and I just stick it kind of onto this part. I can make like a top that opens and closes, or maybe it's a door that opens and closes. Maybe I could put a handle on there, okay? Or if I put another piece of glue tape here, like this, then maybe it could be a bottom. I could put another piece on both sides. Now I have a little bin. I could put things in there. Maybe I want to make something to collect all my little cardboard pieces. I can make a container, okay? Or if I use another large piece of cardboard, so let's see, I'm gonna cut this one kind of into a rectangle. And then if I fold this one in half, and I attach it like this, all of a sudden I have a little house that I could maybe put little toys in there, or maybe I could make a little animal out of cardboard, or a little person that can live in there. The cool thing about this glue tape and the cardboard is that it's super easy to color or to paint on. My students really love to paint the cardboard because it's fast and easy. So if you have any paints at home, what you could do right now is you could add some color to it, and you could let it dry, and then you have like a cool little sculpture. So I would love for you to try to build something out of cardboard today, and I would love for you to try to upload a picture so that I can see what it is that you made today, and hopefully you had a good time trying to build with some cardboard and some glue tape. Remember that it takes artists a lot of practice to get great at something. So if you had any struggles today, you know, it's okay to make mistakes and to have to start again, or just, you know, fix your mistakes and move on. But it takes artists a long time to get really good at things. So I've been drawing for a really long time, and I bet when you're my age, in a really long time, you will be really great at drawing as well. And what I want you to do today is I want you to just have fun, and I want you to give it a try, and I want you to let me know how it goes. Have fun drawing your person and your background. All right, let's talk about modeling clay a little bit. So when you first get your modeling clay, it's probably gonna feel really hard and kind of tough to squish. But the cool thing about modeling clay is that once it gets warm from the heat of your hands and from working it a bunch, it does get a little bit softer and it's easier to work with. But we love modeling clay because it doesn't dry out, right? So it's not like Play-Doh because it doesn't dry out. So let's talk about two cool things that you can make with your modeling clay today. Maybe you can try it out. I bet you can remember these two things if you think really hard back to last year and what we were creating. But let's start with a pinch pot. A pinch pot is one of my favorite things to make because it's so fun and it's easy and it's a good base for lots of different things that we can make. So first you're going to start by rolling your modeling clay into a ball. You can use the table or you can use your hands. And then you're going to take your thumb and you're going to push a dent into your modeling clay. So it's going to look like this. Okay, so you're going to have a dent like that. And then this is called a pinch pot because you are going to take your fingers and you are going to be pinching the clay. You're going to have one finger, your thumb, on the inside of the pinch pot, and then the other side, your other fingers are on the other side, and you're squeezing together. You're not pulling out. I like to say don't want to pull like this. You're pinching, and what happens when you pinch is that it gets thinner and it starts to kind of stand up. Sorry, you can probably hear my dog playing in the background. But so I'm going to pinch like this, and then I'm going to turn my pinch pot and I'm going to squeeze again. Okay, so I'm going to pinch and turn and pinch and turn. And what happens is, as you're pinching and turning, you start to get a little bowl shape, okay, or what's called a pinch pot. And it's called a pinch pot because we make it by doing what? Pinching, okay? So this is a really great way to start making lots of different things. So for example, I could start, and now I have a little bowl. Or maybe if I turn it upside down, I have a turtle shell. Or maybe if I turn it on its side like this, I have a mouth and I could add some eyes and a nose. Okay, so a pinch pot is a great way to start trying to work with your modeling clay. And so maybe you could give that a try. And I'm also going to show you one more cool thing. All right, so I am going to show you one more cool thing that you can do with your modeling clay, and this is called making a coil. Some of you might remember this from last year, but making a coil is super fun because it is also a great start to many different things. And what I'm going to do to start making my coil is I'm just going to start squeezing my modeling clay so that it's getting kind of a long oval shape, okay? And once I have it into a long oval shape, I'm going to start rolling it. Okay, I'm going to start rolling it back and forth like this on the table, and I'm kind of pushing down with my hand. And what's going to happen is it's going to start to make a long, skinny snake shape, or what we like to call a coil. So I'm just going to keep rolling back and forth, and you're going to see that it's starting to make a long, skinny snake shape. And then you can do all kinds of really cool things with this long, skinny snake shape. I'm going to show you some cool things that you can do with that. So I'm going to start by trying to make it nice and long. And I want you to notice that as I'm rolling, my hands start together and then they kind of start to slowly move out. And that's to try to make my coil even so that it's not, you know, super thick on the ends or super thin in the middle, okay? So man, I made a pretty good coil there. So it's kind of fun sometimes to take your coil and see if you can draw some shapes with it, or if you can, maybe you can make a letter. Ooh, that's an easy one, right? Letter O. Maybe you could try to spell out your name. So maybe you could break it into some pieces. I'm gonna do that in a second. I'll do that last because I don't want to break it yet. Or maybe you could try, this is something that's really fun that a lot of my students really like to do, is they like to try to curl up. And they like to make like a twirl here, or sometimes they leave this out and then it looks like a snail, okay? So that's kind of fun. I'm gonna break mine up and I'm gonna see if I can write something to a message with my coil. Oh, that's a long one. Keep that as a long one. Let's do it like this. Ta-da! Maybe you could try making a message or writing your name. So maybe you could try out making a coil pot, or I'm sorry, maybe you could try making out a pinch pot or a coil today with your modeling clay, or maybe you can just make something else really cool using a combination of those things together. So if you make something cool today that you would love to share, I would like to see a picture of that. If you could post it or upload it to our Google form so that I can see it, that'd be awesome. I hope you have a good time today exploring with different materials. Make sure to try and put things back into your art box when you're done so that we don't lose them, and so that your art area is nice and neat and clean. And enjoy your art lesson for today. I will see you guys next time.